Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from the National Athletic Directors Convention in Orlando, Florida. We are. Keith Mangan here, past president from Masada, and myself also past president from Masada. You can't see it behind the screen, but we do have Andy Christofoli in the house who won't leave us alone.
Yes. You know what? We got one of these great grapefruits here from the Florida stand, our host. So we'll toss these over to Andy.
Yep, there you go, Andy.
He's ready to go, and we're all set now. So.
Hey, before we get rocking and rolling here, as always, folks, big shout out to our sponsor, Matt Ross, Gold Athletics. All of the things that you need fundraising-wise, they have it. I'm currently doing a fundraiser as you are as well, and it's going extremely well. Can check in on a regular basis. If you're not using Gold Athletics, I don't know what you're doing. You gotta talk to them. You gotta contact them. They are the best in the game. Gold Athletics, the only way to fundraise.
Oh, absolutely. Matt and his guys are great. And if you need a fundraising company, you want to do something, do it right, reach out to Gold Athletics. They're the guys.
So, Keith, here we are. We're at the national conference. We've been here for a couple of days.
Yep.
I think, if I had to put a pin in it, I would say camaraderie, friendship, meeting new people, and then all of the things that are going on around here. It's unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely. And we had a little issue with some weather yesterday. We had a little tropical storm go through. But other than that, it's been great. We had John Gordon was here as our guest speaker last night, and which was great. And we got to spend some time, as you said, meet new people, and we just got out of our Section 1 meeting. Shout out to Pete Chambeau, who's going into the NIAAA Hall of Fame, and some others. We talked about some different award winners, so
well deserved.
It's great, and we'll give a shout out as well to Lisa Gingras, who is our board rep, who is just finishing up her 3-year stint. So she's done a great job in representing our section, and which has been great.
Listen, it's been absolutely awesome. So far, so good. Again, Keith mentioned that the weather hasn't really cooperated. However, it does look like it's clearing up a little bit, and we may get outside at some point. This has been an unbelievable conference. This is my 7th.
Yep.
You've been to a number of them as well.
This is my 4th.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's a great way to to receive professional development and see people from across the country. It's been awesome. And we're just getting rocking and rolling. We're just getting started. Today's a big day, as you mentioned. Having to go to a lot of different meetings, I feel like, you absorb so much and we learn so much, then you go back and you're reinvigorated. So it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Absolutely. So, from here, what do we got going on for the rest of the day today? We're going over to the vendor hall a little bit.
Yep, vendor hall is amazing. A little tight in there. It seems like they've got a ton of vendors. It's been great. So far, so good. And then, we move on tonight. We have a 5 o'clock, right? We have a 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock
reservation.
We tried to go in for dinner last night at Mikado Japanese Steakhouse, and they said no, thank you. We're full for the night, so we got our reservation. So a bunch of us are going to be heading down there tonight.
Yep.
And heading in for our dinner there, and then we'll get back and meet up with some vendors and do some different stuff tonight. So it's going to be a outstanding opportunity.
Has been a busy day. Been quite a busy day. I myself, I know you had a meeting. I had a meeting. I was really a new thing for me. The certification committee.
Yep.
Which is awesome. A really great group of people. I know that you're doing membership, and I also did awards for Terry Riley, who's our awards chair. So I think we're filling in all the gaps, and we're going to come back with some great things.
Yeah, and I tell you, so the membership committee meeting was great because. So we're taking off with AMP and Final Forms, and all of the membership for the NIAAA is all going through AMP now, which is great. And we're going to make our lives a whole lot easier as far as that whole process.
Well, the funny thing is I think that a lot of great things happened through this conference. If you remember last year, it was good, right? We ran into Frank.
Yep.
We talked to Frank at Final Forms and a few others.
Yep.
And it became a thing, right? We brokered that. We had the conversation. We partnered with them, and now it seems like it's blowing up, and everybody's jumped on board.
And we were just doing that as a way to try to make our lives easier. Little do we know that the national office was going through and setting that whole process up as well. So just a process to go through and to take care of your membership every year is so much easier for Nellie Crocker out of the national office. It's going to make her life a whole lot easier, who handles all that, and just a one-step shop.
Yeah. Well, listen, big shout out to Karen Arnold right now. She's joined us. Okay, she's in the She's in the memory bank here.
All
We've
right.
got a couple others. Wilmington has joined.
Yeah.
Andy Christofoli, a big supporter. Who else? We've got Steve on the call. Folks, if you have questions, if you're not down here, if you want to know a little bit more about the conference, we're happy to answer any of your comments and questions.
Yeah, and I see you, Dennis Ingram, over there in Wilmington Athletics, right next door to Tewksbury, where I live. So it's great to see him jump on here as well.
Good stuff. So we spent a little time with our executive director, Ann.
Yep.
And we've got a guy over here who is enthralled with interrupting us. He just wants to be involved.
Yes.
Okay. He set us up with this beautiful background, but now I hear a little feedback from the phone because he's literally on top of us. But that's okay.
Listen, it takes all kinds. He's still pretty excited because he was able to jump on Florida, as we said, Florida Athletic Association.
And there he is. Yeah. And there he is.
Welcome to Andy Christofoli from Dartmouth. Who's on the national faculty and teaching a class tomorrow morning. So he's looking forward to that. But, I caught him walking by earlier. He was holding an alligator in his hands and wrangled that thing pretty easily. So we'll make sure we'll post those pictures out on the social media later on.
Listen, so I got a question for you. So far, so good, right? What has been your favorite part of the conference thus far?
So I would say so far, getting to hear John Gordon speak last night. I'm a big fan. Especially the Energy Bus, which is one of his earliest books. But talk about positive energy and getting on the bus and even those people that you work with who don't bring that positive energy. You got to bring them on the bus and get them going in that direction and feel that positive energy, which is a great thing. But yeah, it's that was probably by far my favorite.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward shortly after we finish this, head into the vendor hall. Meet some people, talk about maybe some folks we can bring back to our conference who might be in the area. But the vendor hall, we poked in there for a little bit before our meetings, as you know, and it was lights out in there, wall to wall
people,
people everywhere, and with great products and great opportunities that hopefully we can bring back to our group as well.
Speaking of bringing things back, I always have to bring back the pens to my principal.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but he walks in the door first thing the next morning when I write, and he's like, do you got any pens for me?
Yep.
And they have the best pens. But beside the point, really, I think that, if we had to, really talk about it, for us, we've made a lot of friends over the years, certainly the two of us and a few others, but, it's great to connect with people that you've met through, coming down to the conference and seeing folks. And I know later on this evening, we're going to get together with some of our friends from Western Mass and a few others. And we may end up going to the Section 1 event this evening upstairs. So
upstairs, which is great. And again, it's great to talk with folks and get to know folks. We have a couple other of our colleagues popping in right now behind the camera. We have our current president, Tom Tarpey from New Bedford High School, who represented our state at the state president's breakfast this morning. Great to see him in a shirt and tie.
It was
looking very professional.
I'm going to tell you something. I was totally flabbergasted at the fact that how good. He always looks good, but when you put that tie on, and I couldn't believe it. I said, this guy's got some serious class. And then you've got Jim Quattromoni here, who is he does everything, right?
And Jim's a first-time attendee down here as well, so he's
rocking and rolling.
It looks like they just went and picked up their conference gift,
which is, listen, Cutler and Buck. It's sharp, it's great, it goes with everything.
Let me see, Tom.
And I can tell you, Tom's is going to look great on him because it looks like it's got a nice fit to it.
Yeah, so we have this year a nice quarter zip, which look pretty sharp. So this is great. We'll go pick ours up here shortly.
Yeah. So Tom, he's got a special talent. I don't know if most people know this, but on the side, I think he's a campaign manager for a few.
Yes.
And so there was a situation earlier this week where there was an individual who was running for an at-large position, and not only did he get behind him, but he told people to vote for this individual.
Yes, absolutely.
I think his name's Carlos. I'm not sure, but he single-handedly, I think he helped this gentleman win.
Listen, he's campaigned like a champ. He's out and about and making it happen. Carlos from South Carolina.
Yes.
From Section 5.
Hey, I voted.
And I did as well. So,
and you know what? I know Jim Quattromoni voted too. So you know what? We're going to find out on Tuesday who won that race.
Absolutely. And that'd be pretty exciting. We'll see if President Tarpey's campaigning went as well as he was hoping it went. So we'll see how that goes.
I know, Tom, it went real well. It went real well.
Listen, so before we get done here, we'll talk about a couple things.
Where are we
Hold
going?
on.
Where are we going?
We got a couple
I'm
things
in
we
no
got to
rush
talk
to go
about.
anywhere.
We're talking about we're getting ready for the holidays here.
Yes.
So I know that's a big time in the Trahan house, big family gathering.
Oh, always.
What is your? And we talked about this last year, and maybe it's changed at all. What's your go-to dish or meal around for the holidays?
Well, listen, Thanksgiving is obviously
Yep.
the premium, right? But
Yep.
with Christmas, it's I don't want to say it's rushed, but it's there's so much around it, right?
Okay.
So the meal isn't one of those. It's not one of those like, hey, we're gonna sit down for 3 hours and we're just gonna enjoy.
Yep.
It's we're here, we're there, we're opening gifts, we're doing
Absolutely.
this and that. Typically, what we do is we enjoy the holiday. The following day, I go to my sister's house,
Okay.
and then we really decompress and relax. So
Yep.
it's more of a, I don't want to say a smorgasbord, but it is something
So
where
more buffet style.
more buffet.
Yep.
Yeah, there's always some lasagna. There's
yeah.
always some some chicken and all of the other good stuff.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that. But I also have to look forward to the fact that, folks, it's very difficult to come down here and eat sensibly. So I'm looking forward to, once the Christmas holiday's over, I got to get back on the bandwagon and put all of those impurities away.
Absolutely. That's what we see Rob O'Leary from Weymouth walking by right now. It's just good to see Rob down here as well.
Hey, the networking piece is huge, right? You talk about Rob O'Leary. I think he broke at a football game with one of our colleagues here. So when you think about this, right, you get to see people live and in person.
Absolutely.
But you also get to have the conversation and get some of your own stuff done. So, I think that this is a great value to anybody who's an athletic administrator to come on down. Next year is in San Antonio. No, it's Austin.
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. So it's, it's great.
That'll be great. And then the year after will be in Tampa, which we were supposed to be in Tampa when COVID hit.
Yeah.
When we had our online conference.
Yeah.
So it'll be great. So listen, back to Christmas. So I'm going to tell you what we do. We do Christmas Eve. We'll spend with my in-laws to the whole 7 fishes. My mother-in-law Sicilian.
Did you say 7 fishes?
7 fishes.
I met a guy last night, and he was very, very impressed with the fish that they had here at the hotel.
Really?
Yep.
What was that? What kind of fish did he have?
Fish fingers.
Fish fingers. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not a fish finger fan.
No, neither am I. And especially being from Massachusetts, I think he was easily impressed.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the heart to tell him that, hey, we are the Mecca. We are the Mecca when it comes to seafood.
And and I got to think maybe it's because he lives more towards the center of the country.
Gotta be.
And he's not used to the stuff that we get out there, lobster and shrimp.
And the funny thing was we were with one of our colleagues who was actually rather put off about the fact that he liked the fish so much. So I invite our colleague to maybe broker a deal with him, bring him to New Bedford or bring him to the Boston area and go to the seaport, because I think this gentleman would be totally over the moon.
Listen, I wouldn't even know what to do with himself with all those different options.
Yeah.
With actually really quality food.
I'm with you.
But we'll see what happens in the future if that opportunity arises.
Yeah.
So listen, something else we've been talking about while we've been down here. We had some late night viewings. We had some debates here around.
And I think you're going gingerly. I think it's been more than just a debate. I think it's been really a point of conversation. And again, we're working all day, so it's nice to kind of decompress and talk about other things. So the topic came up about wrestling, not wrestling. Wrestling.
Yes.
Okay. So I think that all of us being in a relatively similar age, you know what you know, and at some point you watched wrestling, and we've got a couple of guys that we're here with, and some of them will tell you who their favorites are. However, there's one in particular who I'm actually really disappointed in, that he never watched any WCW growing up.
Listen, so he clearly was sheltered a little bit when he was a kid and didn't get to see quality wrestling at its best. Like you saw with WCW every Saturday at what time?
6:05.
6:05 on TBS. And it'd be right on, and you would have top matches.
Yep.
Which is why I liked it, because all the top wrestlers would wrestle every week. It wouldn't be like the other one, I say the other one, WWF. Now I know they changed their name now, but we'll stick with WWF for all intents and purposes. And how that was, you wouldn't see those guys wrestle until the big events.
No, and I think they saved themselves, to be honest with you. But you got guys that were workhorses, and anybody who knows me knows that I'm a huge Nature Boy fan. All right, so the big gold belt came from somewhere.
Yep.
He's the man. To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Listen, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with the Four Horsemen.
Listen.
Yeah,
big Four Horsemen fan. Big Four Horsemen fan.
We also have walking by on the other side of the can. We have Jim Davis, retired athletic director from Belmont High School. It's good to see Jim again down here.
He's also a big fan of the podcast. Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
so you can't go wrong. Yeah. So what's amazing the power of the internet, how this podcast has reached. We have up to New Hampshire where Jim lives now. We had a couple of folks over here from Pennsylvania who jumped right on and were following right as well. And
our friend Fishfingers told me that he was gonna watch that today. I told him about the podcast, and he said he wanted to watch.
I'm sitting there watching. I haven't seen him jump on yet, but
no. But I think he said he was going to watch. And you know what? I know that he's an avid wrestling guy as well.
Yep.
He ran a couple Boston marathons. He's all about Boston.
Yep.
I know that he'd like to come there, and I think that our colleague is going to invite him.
Well,
maybe over the Christmas holiday season. I
don't
don't know.
We'll see what happens. We'll see if that happens.
You know, if we get evaluated after this podcast, I'd have to question it. I don't know. I don't know that you could take this as a whole, right? So we're kind of a little more off the cuff than we typically are.
Well, absolutely. This is the first time we've done our podcast
right
in the same spot, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so you're usually at Old Colony. I'm in Bedford.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, when you guys were in Denver,
with Cheryl Van Paris,
and Fran,
yes,
and the three of you, while I was home because I wasn't able to make that conference.
Right.
We tried it that way, but this is our first in person together at the same location.
You know, with the world of technology, Keith, I think that we could create a pop-up Masada studio. Okay, I'm at a vocational school, and I know that we've got more than enough capabilities to do so.
Yep.
I think I could meet you off of 495. We could pop the thing up, and we could have a great time.
That could be amazing. Maybe we'll run one of these next meeting in Franklin. We'll get down early. We'll bang one out from Franklin.
Bring the pop up. We can make that happen. I think. You know what? That's all good things, folks. Listen, it all happens here. You know, a little conversation, and boom, there it is. An idea pops up. Just like the pop-up.
Absolutely.
So back to the wrestling, though. Let's not get off topic here. We got to go back to the wrestling. All right. So I got to ask you this. Give me your number one. Is it the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, or is it Hulk Hogan? Who is it?
Oh, without question, the Nature Boy.
Styling and profiling.
Listen,
limousine riding.
You don't get better.
No.
Than the Nature Boy.
No.
And he's still I still see videos of him out doing guest appearances in college football locker rooms and things like that. He's the man.
I'd like to have him. I'd like to have him as a keynote speaker at the school. I just think that it would be well received. I think that
that might break the budget.
That would definitely break.
We got another one walking by right now. We got Mike
one.
Denise, our conference coordinator.
Yep. And he looks like got a handful of goods. He's probably got every vendor down at the hall coming to Massachusetts. Here he is, Mike Denise. Mike Denise. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Always a pleasure.
Always
a pleasure.
Always. Little cameo appearance.
Absolutely.
So, hey, Mike, while we're shooting it out here, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, which one?
Woo!
Woo! There it is.
There
it
go.
is. You knew it.
Can't go wrong with another Ric Flair. Can't go wrong.
Unbelievable. So listen, what do we got on tap for this afternoon?
So after this, we're going to head into the vendor hall. We'll pick up our gift. We'll walk around, meet some vendors. As I said before, we'll try and see if we can make some connections and bring some people up to Massachusetts for our conference in March. And again, just a little preview for that. We're back in Hyannis at the Resort and Conference Center. Jim Quattromoni from Hingham, who's our first vice president, is running the conference this year. So he's got a lot of guest speakers in, so he's ready to go. But we're looking forward to getting down there, and hopefully people will be jumping on board, and that registration will come out right after the first of the year.
Can't say enough good things about our board.
Yep.
And everybody's down here, everybody's networking, and we're all looking for the same goal, and that's to better our association. Right?
Absolutely.
And I think that happens down here. It starts here, and it reinvigorates you.
Yep.
You go back to work, and you're excited about things, right?
Oh,
we're excited about March.
Well, listen, and it's all about, we come down here, not only we network and meeting new people, but we're just trying to bring little things. How is people in the different parts of the country, around the world, since we have people from multiple different countries outside the United States here as well. So trying to get in, bring new things to our school system that might work, might not work. Some things we thought of, we might not have thought of, and it's all about sharing and and trying to improve our profession and our experience for kids.
Not just the improvement, but I gotta say, they say a lot of times that the camera adds 10 pounds. I beg to differ because you look great.
Yeah,
you look fantastic.
I would say not 10, maybe about 30 or 40 pounds, but that's all right. But thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, listen, I'm all about the compliments because, again, we listen to the Energy Bus. We talk about the power of positivity.
Absolutely.
Listen, if you are a negative person, you certainly aren't going to get far. Like, listen, John Gordon hit the nail on the head. It's all about positivity.
Absolutely. And it was funny. Like, he would even share some stories last night with his wife in his room that he told about his wife with her there, which I was like, oh, we'll see how that goes for him. But you couldn't be any more right that it's all about positivity and trying to have bring that positivity to everything that you do, whether it be a personal life, whether it be a professional life, family, with work, everything, and you can't go wrong.
Listen, and it's sincere, right? It's sincere. I think that a lot of us are extremely positive. I think leaving this conference, we're going to go back home extremely positive. It's the winter season. We're in the middle of the year, and you know what happens after that.
Absolutely.
So really excited, folks. We would stay on here for an hour if we could, but the conference schedule is packed. There's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of people to see. Again, we've got colleagues here who are just waiting on us because to be honest, they really can't do it without us. So it was one of those, right? I mean, let's be honest. It was one of those things today where we got a little assistance from Mr. Crystal Foley moving some stuff around here.
Yeah, which was very much appreciated. In fairness, we started at one spot. Then we moved to another one. Then he found a third spot for us. So it was
much appreciated.
Rocking and rolling, and we got to the spot right now with great backdrop behind us.
The other thing too is I almost wonder, if there's any presidential remarks from Mr. Tapi. I don't want to put him on the spot, so maybe we'll save it for a future podcast. But I know he was in there and listening. What I do want to say, Keith, is that I'm extremely looking forward to the next couple of days. I know we're going to spend some time together and do some networking. But I do want to say, you see it up there on the screen. Gold Athletics, folks, is by far the best fundraising company in the country. Okay, if you're not using Gold Athletics, what are you waiting for? It's unbelievable. The fundraising options, the things that they do, the way that they reach across to make sure that you're comfortable with your fundraiser, that your kids are too.
Absolutely.
I don't know that anybody does it better. And certainly Matt Ross is. I think he's got a big time title over there, and he does it all.
Listen, I said it before, right after you started this podcast, and you can't go wrong. I'm working with Steve at my school, and they're just great folks, and they bring forth great programs and make it easy for us as athletic directors to then turn around and bring those work with our teams and in our community. So you can't go wrong with Gold Athletics.
I agree. So, folks, again, here we are live from Orlando at the National ADs Conference. There's people buzzing around here left and right. People have stopped by. People are waving at us. It's been a great podcast. We may pop up again in a real short time. Maybe we'll do a pop-up tomorrow, depending on how this goes. Listen, if you have a question, you have a concern, shoot us a message, and we're happy to answer all your questions. Keith, always good to get together with you.
Listen, you too as well. You can send those emails out to masada@gmail.com. Tanya Rich, our secretary, who does the lion's share of the work for our association, and she'll pass all this stuff along to us. We have an opportunity. Maybe we'll do this again while we're here. If not, shortly thereafter.
Absolutely.
But I want to wish you, your family, a great holiday season.
Same to you.
And the rest of our folks here, safe travels home. Enjoy the rest of the conference, and we'll catch up with you all soon.
You want to grab an iced caramel macchiato. All things are good.
There we go.